as we move forward, I don't know what your teacher engineer will insist upon, but there's so many concepts, there's so many ideas. And very rarely at some point you're going to have to just go back and look something up. I mean, when you ask me the law of cosines right now, I would have to look it up because I kind of know it, but I know it's like c squared equals a squared plus b squared minus c, but I can't remember exactly. I would have to look it up. What's the 22? Did someone pass on demo?
God, 1,000.
All right. So you've had an opportunity to work through it. So I'm not going to do it for you. If you still can't figure out how to do it, then when it's time for you to work as a team, which is going to be most of the rest of the day, then you raise your hand, I will come over and we can talk about what you were missing or which piece you made a mistake on. Are there any questions before we do move on? Okay, so today is the third day of review. It largely revolves around Chapter 9, which was trigonometry. So we're going to continue down this road, but a little background information, and I do not have this printed for you, so you need to know this. So I'm going to give you a moment to quickly read through the bullets, and I will kind of sum up. So I've known for a long time that forest fires are actually necessary, but I never quite knew why. So again, this is not printed for you anywhere, so you gotta look up here. So what I did not know was the purpose behind it. I knew it had something to do with kind of regenerating the forest, but I didn't really know why. And so you can see in the second bullet that when parts of the forest die and it builds up on the forest floor, then what's happening is certain species can no longer thrive in that environment. So the fires can actually kind of clean that out and start fresh. Also, if it remains, then if there is a natural small fire, it can spread really quickly through that underbrush. So periodic fires are actually necessary to fix this. Again, we're still up here. So natural fires are unpredictable. It's usually caused by lightning, but they're unpredictable, so there's no way to know when it's going to happen, and then you can't plan for it to contain it so that it's just doing something positive and not necessarily the negative parts. So what they will do is they will intentionally set controlled fires. If a naturally occurring fire happens, they might actually let it burn to serve the same purpose as long as they have the resources to manage it. So one thing that they do is they set up towers to track fires, because they actually have to be able to see it. And using the information from the towers, they can pinpoint the locations, and then they can send out crews or whatever resources they need to address the issue. So this is all background information you need to attack this first team task. Are there any questions about this, or is there anyone with background knowledge about this that can elaborate even further? Okay. Well, if we have time later at the end, we can do some additional research and maybe try and see some visuals of what this actually looks like. So here is phase 1 of your team task. So you have the diagram, but you do not have the question, so you are going to have to look up here. So now we're going to have a fictional, based on reality scenario where there's a fire that has popped up. And the sight line is at an angle of 30 degrees from north, or east of north. And then the second tower at an angle of 45 degrees west of north. So what I'm going to do is kind of, again, like a performance task, I'm going to lead you towards a conclusion. We want to be able to pinpoint the exact location of the fire so that you can send the crew exactly where they need to go. So first, you and your team are going to find the measure of angle F. Then you're going to find the lengths of AF and FB. And then you're going to figure out the coordinates using tower A as 0, 0. So that's going to be our 0, 0, and that's what it says in number 3. So you have to figure out if there was a coordinate grid laid on top of this, what would the coordinates of the fire be so that you can send the crew to the right location? Okay? So that's the full text of question number 3. So again, with your team, find the measure of angle F. What is this angle right here? Then figure out the length. Figure out this length. And then figure out how can we name the coordinates of that if that is 0, 0. Okay? Any comments or questions, thoughts or concerns? Okay, you got 10 minutes on the clock. Go. Team spokespeople will be on the spot. You might have a new position if you're sitting in the highest numbered seat on your team. It's also labeled spokesperson. You will be sharing out on behalf of the team.
We don't need AF or not. Okay. Let me do 3. No. What?
All right, colored pens up. Let's see how we did. We're going to listen carefully to our classmates. Number 1, I'm looking for the measure of angle F. We're going to start up with team A and B, Zaria, and then Javante. Zaria, what did your team get?
75.
What did you get?
75 degrees.
Yes, 75 degrees. So go ahead and mark your work. Now I'm looking for AF and FB, but we're going to do one at a time. So make sure you're listening carefully. I'm looking for the length AF. We'll start with Samar and then Ian.
3.66.
What did your team get?
3.66.
Yes, it comes out to 3.66. And what about FB? We got Diego and then Christina.
I got 4.48.
What'd you get?
4.48.
Yes, so FB comes out to 4.48, and we're in miles, so I threw in miles. Now we're looking for the coordinates. Noah, what did your team get for the coordinates?
1.83,
So it should be approximately 1.83, 3.17. So there's a lot going on here. So I walked around, so I already know what most teams did. There was a lot of use of law of sines to find the lengths of these distances here and here. And then you had to kind of be creative and add in some auxiliary information. And so many of you drew in that right there. Some of you also drew in that there. And then you focused in on one of those right triangles like this right here to go ahead and try and find, okay, how far do you have to go over and how far do you have to go up to get to the fire. And that was awesome. So this distance is approximately 1.83 miles that way, and then this is approximately 3.17 miles going that way. Anyone have any questions, comments, observations, anything at all? Any other approaches that kind of came about as you were working? Go ahead, Jabari.
I did the transversal line theorem geometry that kind of tilted it on its side, and I used one of these side lengths of the triangle as the transversal.
Okay. To get angles?
Yes.
That was a great idea. So you're like that's parallel to that. And then we have the transversal, and now you've got angles?
Yeah.
That's great. What a great use of parallel lines. Fantastic. Any other thoughts? Okay, well, as I walked around and observed, I saw really impressive work on two levels. Impressive teamwork and impressive content work. So you guys should be proud of yourselves. So let's carry that into phase 2. Now, you've actually seen something like this before. So we're revisiting an idea, so it kind of builds from what we talked about. So forest managers are starting to use technology to try and make their jobs and lives a little bit more efficient. And so using drones, they can go out and monitor. And so it's a little bit different than having to kind of go up into a massive tower. You have this eye in the sky that can go pretty much anywhere. Not a perfect system, but it could be really, really powerful. So there's a sensor for heat built into the drone. And then there's a high resolution camera. So you have this figure. So the question is, how far does the drone have to travel horizontally to get the fire within its field of view? How far does the drone have to travel horizontally to get the fire just inside its field of view? And it's flying at an altitude of 1,000 meters, and it has a field of view of 20 degrees. Anyone have any questions about the details? All right, so work with your team, try and figure it out. You've got 10 minutes. Good luck. Quickly, please. Trigonometry to figure it out. Very impressive. All right, so let's come back together as a whole group. I am running up against the clock, so I know of one team that has figured it out. Give me a thumbs up if you and your team feel confident you have figured it out. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we are going to move ahead. So let's start with, we'll go Javante, Samar, Ian, and then Noah. Javante, what did your team get?
1,403.77.
Okay, Samar?
1,251.82.
Okay, so definitely quite a bit off, but not, kind of in the ballpark.
1,428.
Samar, were you able to hear what he said? Okay, one more time with your lion voice.
1,428.
Okay, Noah, what did your team get?
1,428.
So the answer I was looking for was 1,251.82. However, hold on. If you got 1,428, you did part of the problem, and that's worth recognizing, but you misunderstood what I was asking. So you figured out how long it was going to take for this to get to the fire. But that's not what I asked. I asked, when would the fire be in the field of view? So I wasn't looking for when that was going to arrive here. I was looking for when was this going to arrive here. So this distance from here to here is 1,428 approximately. But you had to subtract this distance right here because I wanted to know the difference between the two. Remember, as this travels this way, this point is also going to travel this way, but that point is ahead of the drone. If we draw a vertical line from here up, you can see it's actually a significant distance ahead of the drone. So, excuse me, this point is going to arrive over the fire before the drone does. That's really important to understand. Think of it this way. When you take a photo of a friend, can't you also take a photo of a friend and then a friend standing next to them?
Yes.
And still get them both in the field of view? How many friends shoulder to shoulder can you take a picture of with your cell phone? 4 or 5? How would we get more people in? You back up, right? Because even though the angle is still the same as you back up, in this case we're saying the drone would go up, the field of view gets bigger because it's touching more. Okay, don't go anywhere. So, excellent work today. There are study guides in Canvas, and I'm going to be putting the answers in Canvas as well. And I'm going to be handing you a list of concepts so that you